So, I'm here because in 2008, if I thought there was no hope for this country, I'd be back in New Zealand right now building bunkers. I'm saying that, okay? But in 2008, the left thought they had a slam dunk. They had the House, they had the Senate, and they had the White House. And their agenda was all primed and ready to roll. It was all worked out, and they were going to steamroll Middle America out of existence once and for all. They were going to take this country down. But in 2009 and 2010, you people here, and hundreds of thousands like you around this country, you stood on your Constitution, you rediscovered American exceptionalism, and you marched, and you agitated, and you emailed, and you campaigned, and you worked, and you stopped the left dead in its tracks. They hate you for it, which is why I love you for it. You know, you people stopped card check, you stopped cap and trade, you slowed down and watered down Obamacare, you stalled the left stone dead, stone cold, and they didn't see it coming. And I've got to confess, neither did I. I really didn't. If you told me there'd be a movement like you guys are part of 5 years ago, I would have laughed. But you Americans stood up and you gave your country a second chance. You gave your country breathing space. Because this doesn't end here in 2012 either. Because I see this as the second American Revolution. This is 1773 of the second American Revolution. And that revolution took 12, 15 years. It wasn't all fighting. It was the preliminary stage, the fighting, and the battles that went on afterwards to formulate the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and work out the system. So this is 1773. And you think how hard they had it back then. A bunch of farmers and shopkeepers and lawyers and fishermen and seamstresses. You know, in those days, 40% of the country supported the British. 20%, if that, supported the revolution. And all the rest didn't care. But those few people, united by an ideal of liberty and constitutional government and opposition to tyranny, got together and took on the greatest empire the world had ever known and bloody well beat them. And how miraculous is that? Would you have bet on the revolutionaries back in 1776? You'd be crazy if you did. But they won. And you people today are in the same situation. The tools are different, but you are here fighting for your country. But it's not just holding the line, it is to re-establish your republic and start the second American Revolution. And I'll tell you, thank you. That's what it's about. And look, I know how hard it is. I've been involved in practical politics. And I come to this country as an outsider. And everywhere I go to Tea Party groups and 912ers, they say to me, it's tough going, you know. Can we do this thing? Nobody's listening. Nobody cares. The country's going down the Googler and we're struggling away here and nothing's happening. And I say to you, as an outsider, I've looked what you people have done in 2 or 3 years, most of you political novices, and what you've done. You stalled a short, slam-dunk movement to destroy your country and stopped it stone cold dead. And right now the left think you've gone away because you're not marching like you used to. But now you're in the county commissions. You're rolling back Agenda 21. You're priming out rhinos like Dick Lugar. Yeah. He wasn't a rhino, he was a traitor. Yeah. You know, you're getting into the school boards. You're altering the Republican Party. You are altering the character of the political debate in this country in ways you cannot imagine. that what you're doing now is going to have implications for decades. And I'll tell you, you are not alone. You think you're alone here, but there are millions of people around this planet who are watching what you're doing and they are rooting for you. Absolutely. You think the world is full of anti-Americans, and there are people like that out there, but the world is full of people too who love liberty and look to the American Constitution as the greatest political document ever written. And they look to you people as the guardians of that Constitution. And we know that if you can take back your country, keep the faith and take back your country, we can do that in our country. So it won't be just a revolution here, it's going to be revolutions for liberty all over the planet. So there are big implications of what you guys are doing. And I know that when you're in a movement, you don't know about it. You know, you're in it, you're doing the hard graft, you don't see the bigger picture sometimes. You don't see the historical implications. And then sometimes it takes an outsider to look in and say, this is what's happening. And I see that as, you know, I can play a little role there. But if you don't think what you're doing is historic and important, you just picture, cast your mind 200 years in the future. This will happen many times. There'll be some kid who will get up in front of the civics class, some teenager, and he'll be real proud, he or she, and they'll say to the classmates, look, I did some historical research, and guess what? My great-great-great-great-grandma and granddad, they were 912ers. They were the Tea Party. You know? And look, how cool is that, you know? When our country, back in the 2010s, when our country was facing annihilation, they stood up and they took their country back and they started that revolution, and we're rich and prosperous and free today because of what they did back then. You know? And can you think of anything cooler to be part of than that? Can you think of, you've got 3 or 4 months to the election in front of you, can you think of any time in your life where 3 or 4 months of hard work is going to pay off more for your grandchildren than the next 3 or 4 months? Can you think of it? So how cool is that? You're part of this movement and you've got an opportunity right now in front of you to alter this country for generations to come. To give your great-great-great-grandchildren the best country in the world. You know, how cool is that? So that is what I'm here to say, ladies and gentlemen. This is the opportunity here in front of you now. And you are doing the right stuff. You're doing the right things, just a little bit more, and you're going to win this thing. So I just want to say to you guys, thank you very much for what you're doing. It's wonderful, and God bless America.